Welcome to our initiative where we strive to make our education click. Have you ever found yourself taking a step back and questioning today's approach to learning? If not, we aim to make you do just that. In reality, our education system is flawed and lacking. Instead of promoting intellectual growth, self-discovery, problem-solving, critical thinking, and logic, our schools have become notorious for overwhelming students with unnecessarily heavy workloads, making us memorize pointless information that we will most likely forget very soon in unenthusiastic and boring lessons. Is it really normal that so many students don't find joy in learning anymore? Youth is naturally curious. We want to learn. We have a natural drive and desire to learn and develop our skills. But are schools really effectively satisfying this need?
Yes, I would say I know what critical thinking is. I learned it in a lot of different places, but I also did learn it in school. So like that is something. But I think schools can still incorporate more critical thinking because they need to put more programs, possibly put it like more actively into the curriculum and possibly a test for critical thinking. It would be very useful for the students to have this valuable skill when going into the university and also way into the long term employment. This is very useful, and even just in normal life, critical thinking is a very useful skill, and everybody should have some measure of this skill.
The only place where I learned about critical thinking is in my grade 11 law class. I haven't really learned about critical thinking or how to think critically in any of my other classes at school.
Yes, but no. I've learned about critical thinking through the media, and I've tried to get into the habit of thinking for myself. Schools don't teach us about critical thinking, though. It feels like schools are just teaching us information to memorize and forget.
Critical thinking is carefully and cautiously analyzing whatever thinking about. I learned critical thinking from my mom. She's probably one of the best critical thinkers I know. She carefully analyzes every situation, and I mean every situation. I wish that it was taught at school, but it's not. My grade 9 English teacher actually brought it up briefly when we were doing a project, but she just spoke about it briefly. It was just very brief, like 1 or 2 minutes. I think critical thinking is important in schools because it could actually help you do your work and help you get better grades and help you with problems in life.
I do know what critical thinking is. I feel like school has developed my critical thinking skills to some degree, however, only in the older grades. I don't remember learning to think critically in elementary school, and I don't see why younger children can't be taught to think critically.
I think school does prepare me for the future, but I think they could do a little bit more because the information that you're getting is not really enough, and there have been many cases of where people who have been great at school still struggle to get a job, and I believe that is a sign of some inefficiencies of the system and that they don't prepare you enough.
What can schools do better to prepare you for the future? Have a home ec class. That's where you learn how to be a parent, how to cook, how to clean, stuff like that.
Not really. I know nothing about the university application process, or at least I didn't until recently, until I had to look into it myself. My school doesn't inform me about admission requirements or scholarship requirements, which I find a bit ridiculous. I feel like it should definitely be touched upon at least.
I feel like school does a mediocre job at preparing you for the future. They can do a way better job. I think that they can start by kind of like tweaking the courses. Like I would suggest maybe an investment course, maybe a few more business courses, because a course that I think that students would find interesting would be an investment course on how to invest money, how to handle money, how to spend money appropriately. That would be really good since you're going into your adult years. You'd be 18, 17, 18 and graduating high school.
Not at all. I don't think any of the information I've learned is gonna be useful for my future. Like, What is knowing the life story of King Henry gonna do for me? Workshops would help, and more stuff to inform kids about their potential paths. And learning laws. I don't even know the laws to the country I live in.
I don't really think school prepares us for the reality of adulthood. We should really learn about saving taxes and about money, finance, and all of those really important things we should all learn before we become adults and enter the real world.
Sometimes, as I was bullied from grade 2 to grade 8, what would make you feel more comfortable at school? A space for people that have issues and have bullying problems to talk.
I don't really feel very comfortable at school because of how some kids bully others, thinking it's funny. They cross lines by saying some really mean and unacceptable things, and I just think it's wrong and they should realize what they're saying is not funny to anyone.
I do feel comfortable in my school. There were certain things that made me feel a little bit uneasy, such as the stabbings and shootings that used to occur. And they used to occur frequently, like every week or every other week. I feel like the school could have been better with a resource officer so that these stabbings and shootings could happen less frequently. And we actually had a resource officer for 7 days before he was taken away. My school has a lot of resources, like they have a library, they have a guidance office. I feel like they should have a nurse's office, because a lot of people, like, what if someone gets hurt and then they can't have access to a hospital or something like that?
I find that my school doesn't really support my learning needs because I have to reteach myself a lot of the things that are taught in class. I find that the lessons aren't very engaging and that the teachers teach the information to simply get it over with, to get the information out there, but they don't really explain the concepts thoroughly enough for me to understand.
I don't think the environment supports my learning style. I usually spend a couple hours a day after school to complete assignments, and it's rough when the majority of schoolwork doesn't fit my learning needs. Everyone learns in different ways, and I think one method of learning can't cater to the needs of everyone.
Why is it that, given the same circumstances, some students thrive while others simply don't? We're not all the same. We cannot be generalized and treated as such. All students are different and have unique learning abilities. How is our current education system being efficient in creating and encouraging future leaders, innovators, and inventors?